I just kept hearing, like, God was just like, man, Laquan McDonald, look, go get that tape. Go get that tape.
Laquan McDonald was shot and killed on October 20th, 2014. At the time, no officers were criminally charged in the shooting. 6 months later, notably after Mayor Rahm Emanuel was reelected, the city of Chicago paid the McDonald family a $5 million settlement.
So when 17-year-old Laquan McDonald was shot by a police officer, I saw, like many other people, a couple paragraph police blotter kind of an article.
Police have not yet identified that 17-year-old boy, but they say that he was armed with a knife and he just wouldn't put it down.
What stood out is that absolutely nothing stood out.
The officers are responding to somebody with a knife in a crazed condition.
But within a couple of weeks, I got a confidential call from someone within law enforcement who told me about the video. They had seen this stuff throughout the years and years, and just said, Craig, enough of this. At first it felt like we were voices in the wilderness, so to speak. And then bit by bit, as we investigated, everything that I first learned from that day by that caller checked out.
So March 2015, I'm watching the news.
Tonight, a troubling update in the case of Laquan McDonald.
An attorney that represented Laquan's family. What he saw and what he illustrated or what he seen on the video just was completely disturbing, right?
Laquan immediately spins to the ground, and the video then clearly shows that the officer continues to shoot Laquan multiple times as he lays in the street.
So when he was saying this, I'm thinking like, nobody else heard what he just said. You know what I'm saying? Like, am I the only one that just heard what he just said? But it wasn't like a big deal, right? I just stored it in the back of my mind like it's this dash cam video, right? So fast forward, April, Rakia Boyd.
How could this be justified? You took my sister away from me.
Rakia Boyd was shot and killed by an off-duty Chicago police detective in March 2012. Former detective Dante Servin fired at 4 people in an alleyway after getting into a verbal altercation with one man in the group. Servin's bullet hit Boyd in the head, killing her. Servin was found not guilty of involuntary manslaughter in April 2015.
And I just went into like this real big state of like depression, right? I'm like, oh my God, we've been marching, we've been protesting, and we lost. And I just was praying and asking God, like, man, we need a strategy. Like, what are we doing? Like, we have to let the world know what's going on here in Chicago. And I just kept hearing, like, God's just like, man, Laquan McDonald, look, go get that tape. Go get that tape.
Can you just first talk about how you got involved with the case in the beginning?
Will just said, hey, like, this video's not out. I guarantee a bunch of reporters have tried to get it.
So I got connected through a mutual friend to an independent journalist by the name of Brandon Smith. And Brandon, like, specializes in FOIA. Like, that's what he does. Like he lives and breathes that, right?
There's no other law that says that people have to give you information. That's the only one.
The police department in the city did not release the video, so we might want to challenge it in court.
Sometimes you hear people say good journalism gives a voice to people who don't have a voice. Mm-hmm. They have voices. They've been speaking out about stuff for a long time, but people haven't been listening.
How did you know that you wanted to move forward with this?
In February, Jamie Calvin publishes the piece with the autopsy, which showed that the police lied. At that point, we knew that police had lied. Something was up. It warranted further investigation.
We filed the FOIA for it. He filed the FOIA. The city denied it. You know what I'm saying? They kept stalling. That's what they was doing. By the time the summer come, we like, look, we going to court. You know what I'm saying? We're not gonna play with y'all. So he hired a lawyer, Matt Topic. Master Truth.
Brandon Smith came to me. I had represented him as a journalist in another FOIA case in the past and said everybody in town, all the media had asked for it, nobody was getting it, nobody was filing a suit to do about it. So he asked me if I would file the case, and I said, yeah, absolutely.
Matt Topic and Brandon Smith filed suit against the city in August 2015. asking a judge to force the city to release the video to the public. The case was heard by Judge Franklin Valderrama.
So what the city was arguing is that it would interfere with a pending investigation by IPRA, which investigates police misconduct. We weren't convinced that anybody was really investigating anything. It had been well over a year. It seemed like the thing had stalled out. There's a huge public interest in seeing whether the police lied about what happened, seeing whether a police officer murdered somebody, seeing whether it was a terrible use of force, seeing if everybody lied about it. There's a huge public interest in that, and that's the reason we have a FOIA statute in the first place.
We went to court actually in October, and he had oral arguments against the city for why the video should be released.
We believe that in these instances, police need to promptly release video of what happened.
Matt did his thing. Was really dope, represented us well.
We wanted it released now because we really thought nothing was going to happen unless the video was released and there was a public demand that the powers that be do the right thing in this case, because historically they sure as hell haven't done the right thing in these kinds of situations.
We came back on November 19th. He told the city, like, we find in favor of Brandon Smith and you need to release that.
On the date when we got the decision, and it was a packed courthouse and the media was all there and it was all, it was all ready to go. I mean, that's when we really knew it was going to be what it was.
Jason Van Dyke shooting Laquan McDonald
allegedly
16
murdered
times
by a Chicago
shooting
policeman.
a black teenager in the back.
You know, that was an execution of Laquan McDonald.
It was horrible.
It's the first time, even within my lifetime, that an on-duty Chicago police officer was ever charged and criminally prosecuted for shooting a black man, woman, or child.
The release of the video was followed by the firing of the Chicago PD superintendent, the ousting of the former Cook County state's attorney, and plans for the Chicago PD to adopt a new use of force policy.
You can't put the jack back in the box. It's out there. People can still say, we don't care about this, but you can't just deny this basic reality.
I'm thrilled that I was able to maybe just kind of topple the thing over. But other people, many other people, worked for a very long time to build that thing that got tipped over.
How did it feel to be a part of it? Good, but there's a lot of work left to do.
It took that video to show not only the naysayers and the unbelievers in our own city, but across the country, of what we were saying about police brutality was real. That unarmed black men and women were getting unjustifiably shot in the streets of Chicago and in inner city black communities all across the country, all across this nation. Yeah. So no longer can you say, oh, they just in the streets being annoying, or that a victim of police violence had it coming, or they shouldn't have been combative. Yeah. They should have complied. You know what I'm saying? So that eliminated all of that with that one video.
Along with a first-degree murder charge, Van Dyke now faces 16 counts of aggravated battery, one for each shot fired at McDonald. Van Dyke remains free on bond with no trial date set.